This is Lithuania, and the Real Economy team is here to analyse the economic consequences of the last Baltic country to join the euro in January 2015. On the show, we'll speak to the Lithuanian Prime Minister about opportunities lost in the past and gained now with the euro for the economy. We'll put questions people have about monetary policy to the country's central bank governor, and then travel to neighbouring Poland to look at the differences in attitudes towards the monetary union. After some serious economic pain, Lithuania's economy since 2011 has been growing, and GDP is forecast to expand even further. Inflation is now under control, employment is improving, and it's got low public debt. So let's get you a quick crash course on the soon-to-be 19th Eurozone country.
Lithuania is the southernmost Baltic country, and the most populous too. During the 14th century, the Grand Duchy of Lithuania was the largest country in Europe, made up of present-day Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine and parts of Poland and Russia. In 1990, it became the first Soviet republic to declare independence, becoming an EU member in 2004 and also a member of NATO. Bordered by Poland, Latvia, Belarus and Kaliningrad Oblast, 84% of people are ethnic Lithuanians. The country first started using the litas in 1922, reintroducing it in 1993 as the country phased out the ruble. From 1994, the litas was pegged to the dollar, and in 2002 it moved to a euro peg. But due to high inflation and the economic crisis, Lithuania was denied entry into the Eurozone in 2007. But now it's all go, having checked what are known as the convergence criteria boxes.
When a country transitions its currency, inflation is always a concern, but dual pricing, according to official standards, can let people here know whether businesses are playing fair. Also of concern, one-off costs and interest rates, which should head lower after the euro adoption. Employment in the medium term is expected to improve due to the transition, but in the long term, only by structural reform. So, Gianni Maggi took the Lithuanian people's concerns straight to the country's central bank governor.
Lithuania is counting down to the big bang on January the 1st. For the first 15 days of the year, the euro will circulate together with the old currency, and people have already been able to get packages of the new coins. Many retailers have signed a memorandum promising not to use the adoption of the euro as a pretext for increasing prices. As well as the usual monitoring of the prices of 40 basic goods and services, a further 100 will be checked until next August.
I think a single currency is much better than this crossover between the different currencies and the nuisance of that.
I think it opens up a lot more opportunities. I think it will be excellent. Price increases are normal because all businesses suffer additional costs with the arrival of the euro. I partly agree with the concerns about our independence because the litas was our money, closer to our heart.
With the chairman of the central bank, we talked about the concerns expressed by the ordinary citizen about the possible impact of the euro on prices.
We have the newest experience from Latvian. And in Latvia, the price increase connected or related to the euro was, I would say, 0.1. So something like that we can expect in Lithuania, having in mind that the increase of incomes will be 4–5%.
The loss of monetary sovereignty is another sensitive issue for the public.
We have fixed rate regime to euro since 2002. That means that we do not have any independent, let's say, monetary policy.
So what are the reasons for the adoption of the euro that could convince even the most skeptical?
It will abolish credit risk. It will decrease interest rates. So, and that means that we have chance for better development.
That's monetary policy, but what is the government's view? Joining us is Lithuania's Prime Minister, Algirdas Butkevičius. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much for your time. What's changed in Lithuania with this euro entry? Because in the past you've seen capital outflows, inflation being a concern. Has strategy really changed going into the future so it never happens again?
After the economic crises that we went through in 2009 to 2012, very clear measures were adopted on how to control the financial market and how to reduce the fiscal deficit. We reformed the energy sector, aiming to reduce the prices of energy resources.
Do you think you were a little bit too dependent on monetary policies?
Certainly. First of all, not only the monetary policy. One very important issue for us during the economically hard times was that a lot of young people left Lithuania. There was massive emigration.
Let's talk about the question of wages and labor reforms to attract that immigrant crowd back to Lithuania. Among
the European Union states, the wages in Lithuania were practically the lowest. They've now started to increase by approximately 4 to 5%. But I'm afraid that labour productivity lags a little behind.
Is there a question here about aging population that can't work? Are we going to see the benefit system within Lithuania change then?
Yes, you have touched actually on a very important issue for us, which is the demographic situation in Lithuania. We see that trends are such that with every year we have more and more elderly people who need to be paid retirement pensions and who have more difficulties getting into the labour market where high skills are required. This question occupies a very important place in our plans, looking forward to the perspectives and implementing various structural reforms.
We'll pick up on our conversation with the Prime Minister, but first let's head across the border to one of Eastern Europe's strongest performing economies, Poland, which is still contemplating whether joining the euro is in its best interest. Sarah Chappell headed off to Warsaw for a Christmas-time debate.
Monica runs an award-winning cosmetics startup in Warsaw. Her firm exports to Europe and beyond. As debate rages in Poland over whether or not to join the Eurozone, Monica says that, for now at least, out is better than in.
For the moment, we see more advantages of keeping Polish złoty, keeping production in Polish złoty, and selling in euros. Now we have lower cost of labor, but when we enter the Eurozone, the wages will go up. We will already be more developed company, so it will not be that's a big problem. But for the companies which just start, it will be a huge difference.
Surveys suggest that 2/3 of Poles are against the euro. A major reason is that the economy has been growing fast without it. Poland was the only EU member state to avoid an economic downturn after the global financial crisis. But the country has its own challenges. Its GDP is less than 1/3 of the Eurozone average, and its inflation rate is below zero. The World Bank believes that when Poland does finally join the Eurozone, the benefits will far outweigh the drawbacks.
It can help Poland because it will increase investment, it will increase economic stability, and it will increase technology absorption.
Poland has already signed up to join the euro when it's ready, but many Poles want to see a full Eurozone recovery first, and Poland has a long way to go too.
Poland needs to do its homework before it's ready for the Eurozone. It needs to be fully flexible and competitive because these are the lessons of the crisis.
Beyond economics, analysts believe that geopolitics, specifically the conflict in neighbouring Ukraine, will push Poland closer to Brussels. Warsaw says it's facing its biggest security crisis since the Cold War.
Mr. Prime Minister, let's talk about Poland. They're still debating whether they want to enter the euro. What's the big thing for Lithuania now with the euro when it comes to security, economics?
Certainly it was a very big challenge when we had to take a decision concerning the euro introduction at the beginning of 2013. It's very important for us that all the Baltic states have the common currency, the euro. And it's also very important as the borrowing costs are calculated in the national budget expenses. Borrowing with lower interest rates lowers the borrowing services expenses.
Do you need a strategy change when it comes to your economic relations with Russia?
If we talk about economic development, the future and economic relations with Russia, I want to say that we're now working very intensively with the Western European markets, looking for relations in other countries and signing new contracts. Exports to Russia represented 20% before the sanctions. Many in the business community have understood that the Russian market became pretty risky.
If the Russians react, what is your strategy for controlling inflation in Lithuania and providing that energy resource to your people?
Talking about the prices of energy resources, it has to be said, for example, that the government reduced gas prices by 20% after discussions with Gazprom. And Lithuania already has and is importing gas via a liquefied natural gas terminal, for example, from the Norwegian company Statoil. So the risk factor that was so big before, with the dependence on Gazprom, is, how do we say, today we have the possibility of getting gas supplies from elsewhere. And what's more, in terms of the energy sector, in the coming year we have to finish two very ambitious electrical network projects, one with Sweden and another with Poland.
That's a wrap from Lithuania. Have a Merry Christmas and we'll see you back here in the new year. Goodbye.